In the blossoming energy of spring 2025, a profound message emerges from the celestial realms. 12 archangels have united to deliver a transformative revelation. Humanity stands at the threshold of a new Earth timeline, contingent upon our collective ability to transcend the pervasive fear matrix. Melissa Jordan, a seasoned spiritual guide, channels this divine communication, urging us to awaken to our intrinsic power and co-create a reality anchored in love, unity, and higher consciousness. This pivotal moment invites us to shed the illusions of fear and step into our roles as conscious architects of a harmonious future. The fear grid isn't natural, it's engineered. Melissa reveals that the pervasive fear enveloping humanity is not an inherent aspect of our existence, but a constructed matrix designed to suppress our divine potential. This artificial grid feeds on low vibrational energies, perpetuating cycles of anxiety, division, and disempowerment. By recognizing fear as a manufactured illusion, we begin to reclaim our sovereignty and dismantle the structures that bind us. The archangels emphasize that this fear matrix operates through subtle programming, infiltrating our thoughts, emotions, and societal systems. It thrives on our unconscious compliance, making awareness the first step toward liberation. By bringing these hidden mechanisms to light, we weaken their hold and pave the way for transformation. Melissa encourages us to observe our internal dialogues and external influences critically. Are our choices driven by love and authenticity, or are they reactions to fear-based conditioning? This introspection empowers us to make conscious decisions aligned with our higher selves. Breaking free from the engineered fear grid requires collective awakening. As more individuals transcend fear, the matrix loses its power, allowing the emergence of a reality rooted in compassion, unity, and divine truth. Archangels have opened a timeline corridor. Melissa shares that the archangels have unveiled a temporal corridor, a window of opportunity, for humanity to shift into a higher vibrational timeline. This corridor is not a fixed path, but a dynamic space where conscious choices can alter our collective destiny. It is a sacred invitation to co-create a future aligned with our soul's purpose. This timeline corridor is accessible through heightened awareness and intentional action. By aligning our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors with love and truth, we resonate with the frequencies of the new earth. The archangels stand as guardians and guides, supporting us in navigating this transformative passage. Melissa emphasizes the importance of inner work during this period. Healing past traumas, releasing limiting beliefs, and cultivating spiritual practices enhance our vibrational alignment. As we elevate our consciousness, we contribute to the collective ascension. The timeline corridor remains open for a finite period, underscoring the urgency of our engagement. By embracing this opportunity with courage and commitment, we catalyze a paradigm shift that reverberates across dimensions. Your nervous system holds the entry code. According to Melissa, our nervous system functions as a key to accessing higher states of consciousness. When regulated and attuned, it becomes a conduit for divine energy, enabling us to perceive and integrate the frequencies of the new earth. Conversely, a dysregulated nervous system hinders our spiritual receptivity. The archangels advise nurturing our nervous system through practices that promote balance and coherence. Mindfulness, breathwork, and grounding techniques help recalibrate our physiological responses, fostering a state of inner harmony conducive to spiritual growth. Melissa highlights the interconnection between our physical and energetic bodies. By honoring this relationship, we create a stable foundation for ascending consciousness. A well-regulated nervous system enhances our ability to anchor light and embody higher vibrational states. As we cultivate nervous system resilience, we become more adept at navigating the challenges of transformation. This physiological alignment empowers us to act as bridges between the current reality and the emerging New Earth paradigm. The matrix weakens when you feel without judgment. Melissa conveys that the matrix's strength lies in our resistance to experiencing emotions fully. By judging or suppressing our feelings, we inadvertently reinforce the very structures we seek to dismantle. Embracing our emotions with compassion dissolves the matrix's grip and restores our authentic power. The Archangels encourage us to view emotions as messengers rather than adversaries. Each feeling carries valuable insights, guiding us toward greater self-awareness and healing. By allowing emotions to flow without attachment or aversion, we facilitate energetic liberation. Melissa emphasizes the transformative potential of emotional alchemy. Transmuting fear into courage, anger into clarity, and sorrow into compassion elevates our vibrational frequency. This inner alchemy weakens the matrix's influence and aligns us with the New Earth energies. Through non-judgmental emotional presence, we reclaim our sovereignty. This practice not only heals individual wounds, but also contributes to the collective dismantling of fear-based paradigms, paving the way for a harmonious global consciousness. 12 Archangels transmit in harmonic unity. Melissa reveals that this moment in spiritual history is unlike any other, not because of catastrophe, but because of cooperation. The 12 Archangels are not speaking separately. They are transmitting as a single harmonic force. Their unity is not symbolic, it's structural. It creates a vibrational field strong enough to help humanity shift timelines through collective resonance. Each Archangel contributes a distinct frequency: truth, healing, wisdom, protection, grace, and more. But when they speak together, they create something greater than the sum of their parts. Melissa explains this as a form of divine coherence. When celestial beings harmonize, their frequency stabilizes our unstable grid and weakens distortion within the matrix. You might feel this unity as subtle changes in your body or field, chills, deep calm, or a sense that something bigger is happening beneath the surface. Melissa encourages listeners to sit in silence during this spring portal, not to hear words, but to feel frequency. These angelic harmonics don't speak to your mind, they attune your soul. This harmonic field isn't just divine, it's invitational. The Archangels are not leading this transformation alone. Their unity is a blueprint for our own. Melissa reminds us, the more we come into coherence with each other, the more we amplify that higher reality. The new earth will not be delivered, it will be harmonized by us. Spiritual authority begins with energetic consent. Melissa teaches that before anything can change in your life, or in our collective field, there must be energetic consent. No being, no light force, and no timeline shift can override your sovereignty. The Archangels may offer assistance, but they wait for your alignment before they act. Consent isn't just permission. It's presence. It's readiness. This is why some feel the shift more intensely than others. Those who consciously say yes through their actions, thoughts, and openness begin to experience the new Earth timeline in real time. Melissa explains that consent isn't given once. It's a continual calibration, a choice to remain attuned to higher reality. When fear dominates, you unconsciously withdraw that consent. That's when timelines close, synchronicities stop, and guidance fades. But when you anchor into trust, even imperfectly, you become eligible for deeper levels of divine support. Melissa reminds us that even your breath, when taken with awareness, signals readiness to receive. Spiritual authority is not given, it is activated from within. The Archangels can only guide those willing to own their role in creation. If you want to step into higher destiny, the first question to ask isn't, will they help me? It's, am I in energetic agreement with what I say I desire? The 2025 timeline is a collective frequency vote. Melissa shares a powerful truth from the Archangels. The new Earth isn't arriving because it's time. It's arriving because enough souls are vibrationally voting for it. This is not a passive unfolding. It's a co-creative movement. Every thought, every act of kindness, every refusal to bow to fear counts as a ballot cast for higher reality. You don't vote through ideology. You vote through frequency. Are you embodying love in small, unseen ways? Are you choosing curiosity over judgment? These micro-choices are what the Archangels call timeline votes. They gather force across millions of souls until a vibrational tipping point is reached and reality itself reorganizes. Some may wonder, what difference can one person make? But Melissa assures us, every aligned being acts like a tuning fork. When you rise, your field reminds others of what's possible. You become part of the invisible network of coherence the new Earth requires to fully anchor into form. So the question isn't, will Earth change? The question is, will enough of us live the frequency that permits it to? Melissa says we're closer than we think. The future is not a prophecy. It's a frequency outcome. And that outcome is being cast through us every moment. The new Earth isn't a place, it's a pattern. One of the biggest misconceptions about the new Earth is that it's a location we'll arrive at. But Melissa explains that the Archangels speak of it not as a destination, but as a living frequency structure, a pattern we step into by resonance. You won't board a ship to reach it. You'll realign your field to become it. This pattern already exists in subtle form. It appears in the kindness between strangers, in the silence of prayer, in the transparency of those choosing authenticity over popularity. These are not random moments. They're evidence of a new framework already weaving into our reality. Melissa teaches that when you embody that pattern, even in a broken world, you become a carrier of the new Earth codes. Your presence becomes part of the fabric. Others feel it without knowing why. This is how the pattern spreads, not through preaching, but through living alignment. So don't wait for signs in the sky. Look at the texture of your choices. Look at the way you hold your own discomfort. That's where the new Earth begins. Melissa reminds us, the future isn't built by arrival. It's anchored by frequency keepers, and that keeper is already inside you. Archangel Raziel reveals the blueprint of remembering. Melissa shares that Archangel Raziel, often called the keeper of divine mysteries, has stepped forward in this timeline corridor to remind humanity of what we've forgotten. Raziel doesn't teach you something new. He helps you reclaim what your soul already knows. The blueprint isn't external. It's woven into your very being. Raziel transmits through signs, sacred geometry, sudden insights, and what Melissa calls inner déjà vu. These moments feel like recognition more than discovery. You read something, hear a phrase, or feel a stirring, and suddenly, it's as if your soul whispers, "I've been here before." That's the blueprint lighting up. This map is not mental, it's vibrational memory. Raziel activates layers of awareness stored in the subtle body. You might experience this as intuitive upgrades, unexplainable confidence, or a sudden urge to shift your life path. Melissa explains that this isn't random. It's divine software being reactivated in response to your readiness. To work with Raziel's blueprint, you don't need complexity. You need stillness, trust, and willingness to listen to what arises beyond logic. Melissa reminds us, remembering doesn't mean going backward. It means stepping forward from a place of soul certainty. The blueprint is not lost. It was simply waiting for you to stop forgetting who you are. Don't fight the fear matrix. Transcend it. Melissa warns that many spiritual seekers try to fight the fear matrix by resisting, confronting, or exposing it head-on. But the Archangels offer a different path: transcendence. The fear matrix is like a web. It tightens the more you struggle against it, but it weakens the moment you rise above its frequency. This doesn't mean spiritual bypassing. It means refusing to give your power to systems built on fear, guilt, and control. Melissa explains that when you shift your focus from what's wrong to what's possible, you begin to live in a different vibrational reality altogether. You stop fueling the old and start co-creating the new. Transcendence isn't escape, it's energetic refusal. You don't argue with illusions. You stop agreeing to them. You don't win battles within the matrix. You evolve past the game entirely. The Archangels say the most radical act you can make is to embody a state that the matrix can't recognize: joy, compassion, coherence, neutrality. Melissa reminds us that your field speaks louder than your fight. If you want to break the matrix, you don't need to destroy it. You need to become something it cannot control. Transcendence isn't weakness, it's mastery. Your aura is a timeline magnet. According to Melissa, your aura isn't just your energy field, it's your cosmic compass. Every thought, every emotion, every belief ripples through it, sending signals into the quantum field. These signals don't just float, they magnetize specific timelines. Your aura is not reflecting your future, it's selecting it. You may wonder why certain patterns keep repeating. Melissa explains that it's not punishment, it's resonance. Until your field shifts, your reality won't. The moment your inner vibration aligns with a different frequency of truth, joy, forgiveness, sovereignty, the external begins to morph in response. That's how timeline jumps begin. The Archangels teach that your aura must be treated as sacred infrastructure. Cleanse it, strengthen it, tend to it like a garden. Melissa shares simple practices: silence, sunlight, sound, boundaries, and beauty. These don't just protect you, they retune you. A tuned field becomes an undeniable magnet for new timelines. If your future feels unclear, don't ask, "What do I do?" Ask, "What is my field broadcasting?" Melissa reminds us, your aura is your vote. It's your map. And when your aura changes, your next timeline can't help but answer. Prophetic dreams are timeline codes being delivered. Melissa shares that in this season, dreams aren't random, they are encoded transmissions. The Archangels are slipping timeline information into your subconscious while your ego sleeps. These dreams may seem symbolic, but they're actually directional indicators, nudging you toward or away from paths with soul-altering consequences. You might see strange places, meet unfamiliar people, or feel powerful emotions upon waking. Melissa says not to dismiss these as just dreams. They are consciousness updates, showing you what your soul is voting for and what your energy is attracting. If you pay attention, these dreams become navigational tools. Prophetic dreams may not make logical sense, but their vibration is unmistakable. You'll know them by how they stay with you. Journal them. Speak them aloud. Ask for clarity before sleep. Melissa explains that this simple request, "Show me what I'm ready to receive," opens the dreamscape into sacred ground. These aren't predictions. They're invitations. The dream is the signal. Your waking action is the response. Melissa reminds us that timelines are always fluid until they're chosen. And sometimes the clearest way your soul communicates choice is while your eyes are closed. The frequency of discernment activates protection. Melissa shares that one of the most underestimated spiritual tools in 2025 is discernment. It's not judgment, it's clarity in motion. The Archangels say discernment isn't about choosing what's good or bad. It's about sensing what's yours and what's not. In a shifting reality, discernment becomes protection. This doesn't mean isolating yourself from life. It means becoming more attuned to what strengthens or weakens your field. Melissa explains that in the presence of discernment, you don't need to resist or defend. You simply don't allow what doesn't align to enter. Discernment is spiritual boundaries encoded in vibration. When you practice discernment, you don't get pulled into every conversation, every emotion, or every frequency storm. You move through life with clarity and economy. The Archangels describe it as energetic filtration. You're not cold, you're precise. You're not detached, you're deeply anchored. Melissa reminds us, discernment isn't elitism. It's resonance literacy. In the timeline corridors now open, discernment will keep you in integrity with the version of Earth you want to build. It's not about fearing the wrong thing. It's about recognizing what no longer belongs in your field and lovingly choosing something better. The most subtle shift is the most powerful. The Archangels often speak in whispers, not roars. Melissa shares that the biggest frequency leaps rarely come from dramatic acts, but from subtle shifts that ripple with profound impact. A single new thought, one small boundary, or a pause before speaking can realign your entire trajectory. You may overlook these moments because they feel too small to matter. But Melissa explains that spiritual evolution compounds. It builds. Every time you choose stillness over reaction, intuition over habit, or truth over performance, you tilt your timeline toward higher resonance. These aren't small shifts, they're inflection points. Subtle shifts change your inner algorithm. Suddenly, what used to trigger you doesn't. What used to drain you now bypasses your field. What used to confuse you becomes clear. These changes may not announce themselves, but they restructure your entire path quietly. Melissa says that the ego loves drama, but the soul loves consistency. If you want to anchor the new earth, don't wait for a spiritual high. Honor the microshifts. Trust the quiet upgrades. The most powerful version of you may not be louder, but she will be lighter, clearer, and far more aligned. Silence is how the new grid downloads begin. In a world addicted to noise, silence becomes sacred technology. Melissa explains that the Archangels aren't shouting their instructions. They're transmitting through frequency, and that frequency can only be heard in stillness. Silence is not absence. It's the bandwidth where truth downloads. You may have noticed that insights drop in when you're walking alone, just waking up, or sitting in stillness. That's not accidental. Melissa teaches that silence widens the energetic receptors in your field. It creates space between your thoughts so divine intelligence can arrive, not be chased. This isn't forced meditation. It's a natural quieting. It's learning to listen differently. The new Earth timeline is already transmitting codes through nature, through the body, through silence itself. But if your mind is too full, the signal gets lost. The download can't find space to land. Melissa encourages you to take 10 minutes each day and simply be. Not for a goal, just to become available. The silence you create becomes a landing strip for timeline guidance. And once that guidance is received, everything begins to flow, not from will, but from alignment with source design. Archangel Jophiel speaks of beauty as a weapon. Melissa reveals that Archangel Jophiel, the angel of divine beauty and spiritual illumination, brings a powerful message for 2025. Beauty is not soft, it's sovereign. In a world engineered to drain and distract, beauty becomes an act of rebellion. It clears static and elevates frequency. Beauty is not superficial. It's the energetic signature of harmony. Raziel teaches that when you surround yourself with beauty, through sound, color, art, order, you recalibrate your nervous system and restore inner coherence. Melissa explains that beauty is a kind of divine code. It whispers to the soul, you are safe. You are eternal. You are whole. This is why darkness tries to uglify the world with chaos, distortion, fear, and disconnection. Because beauty reminds you of heaven. It realigns you with divine order without needing to say a word. Melissa invites you to treat beauty like a shield, not as escapism, but as sacred structure. You can weaponize beauty not by fighting, but by curating. A soft candle, a healing psalm, a sunset walk, these aren't luxuries. They're spiritual recalibrators. Raziel reminds us that when your environment mirrors the divine, your spirit rises. Beauty disarms the matrix, because the matrix cannot touch a soul aligned with light. Timeline jumps happen when you let go of linear time. Melissa explains that one of the most misunderstood aspects of spiritual awakening is the belief that growth must happen gradually over time. But the Archangels reveal a deeper truth. Timeline jumps aren't linear, they're vibrational. The shift happens the moment you release your allegiance to the calendar and begin aligning with now. This doesn't mean you bypass the process. It means you recognize that frequency, not time, is what moves you. Melissa teaches that the illusion of not ready often keeps people looping in lower timelines. But when you release the belief that growth takes years, you unlock a new spiritual law. Transformation occurs at the speed of permission. You may feel disoriented when this shift begins. Things that once took months to process now dissolve overnight. Conversations close themselves. Old versions of you fade like dreams. Melissa says that's not chaos. That's confirmation. You've jumped. The old momentum no longer applies because you're not there anymore. The key is trust. Trust that letting go of the story of time doesn't mean losing grounding. It means reclaiming your role as a multidimensional creator. The past and future compress into the now. And the now is where all new worlds are born. As the Archangels say, let go of the clock. Step into the current. Melissa adds that one of the clearest signs you've jumped timelines is the sudden collapse of meaning in things that used to matter. Old attachments, roles, even routines may lose their emotional weight overnight, not because you're disconnected, but because your soul no longer resonates with that reality. The leap isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's subtle, like waking up and realizing you no longer need to heal something you've already outgrown. In that moment, Melissa says, you're not moving forward, you're moving out of repetition and into resonance. You are assigned to help anchor this possibility. Of all the messages Melissa has received, this one is perhaps the most personal and the most urgent. You are not here by accident. You did not wander into this timeline. You were assigned. The very fact that you're alive now, aware now, listening now, is your confirmation that you were chosen to help anchor the new earth possibility. This doesn't require fame, titles, or spiritual perfection. It requires presence. It requires frequency steadiness. Melissa reminds us that the anchoring doesn't happen through grand declarations. It happens in daily choices, in how you meet chaos with calm, how you meet doubt with truth, how you hold light when others forget. The Archangels say that every lightworker, every empath, every soul aware of this shift has a role, not to save the world, but to hold the tone of the world we are building. You are one of them. Your very being is a tuning fork for higher reality. Melissa leaves us with this truth. You are not waiting for the shift. You are the shift. And the new earth timeline isn't something that appears. It's something that responds to you remembering who you truly are. Stand in that remembrance, and the timeline will open beneath your feet. Melissa also reminds us that anchoring doesn't mean carrying the weight of the world.